I figured I would start out this video by giving you guys a little bit of an update on this thing. So I finally got, well, I've had this finished for a couple of days. I just didn't really have enough content to make for a decent length video. But I got the new 7/16 tap in, and it just went through that cast iron like it was just lukewarm butter. Like there was nothing there. After getting it mounted, and this is the set screw or Allen headed screw that I was going to have problems with clearing the V-way. So I wound up taking an end mill to part of that set screw or part of that bolt to make clearance for it. After that, it was just hunky dory, but it centered up pretty decently. It's off by maybe a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch too high. If I hadn't made this particular bolt pretty much irreversible, I would have taken the whole thing back apart and taken a little bit more off of it. But it's definitely going to be close enough that it's gonna work out okay. So I have no idea what this thing originally came off of, but all the fasteners on it are metric except for this. So it looks like it's going to serve my purposes at this point. I'll show you the underside of it here real quick. Grab a wrench. See if I can get this out. There we go. Well, let's take it over to the bench. This will be the easiest thing to do. Okay, I had to take a little bit of material off both sides of this clamp, which wasn't really a big deal. See if I can get this situated in a way that you can see it. And you can see what's left of the Allen bolt. So I got it down to the point where I was left with, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch or 5/16 of an inch of thickness in the material here. And I still wasn't getting anywhere near close enough to where I was going to clear the V-way. So I just figured I would Loctite it and, like I said, take an end mill to this and call it a day. But looks like it's going to tighten up and work just fine. The other thing is I started making a little bit of progress with the pieces for the belt guards for the Atlas. So like I said, just an old hood that I cut some of the metal out of. I still got to cut out the strips that are going to go around the perimeter of this. I just kind of got sidetracked on another project. Speaking of which, the other project that I'm sidetracked on at the moment, a few weeks back I had mentioned that I was going to put wheels on the front of this drill press so that I could move it around. And the kicker is the base of this thing is on a little bit of an angle. It's cast iron base, so it doesn't really come as any great surprise. So I was trying to figure out exactly how I was going to manage that angle and give myself reasonably straight wheels. So I'd remembered cutting out a bunch of these wheel blanks for the caster project that I was working on a few months back. So I decided I would just use these. I've already got a 1/2 inch hole bored through these. And what I've got is I scrounged up a couple of pieces of, I think this is 3/8 by 3/4 by 3/4 inch square tubing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it to the side of the base on an angle like that, and I'm going to at the same time, I'm going to turn the camera, so it's going to be on a little bit of an angle like that, but yet I'm going to have the axle go through like this so that's relatively perpendicular to the ground. So the challenging part of all that was trying to figure out how to hold this in something on an angle, or on just the right angle with the limited resources that I've got. So I did a little bit of research and come to find out it's approximately 77 degrees. So I sat this guy to 77 degrees, and I found just the right size of these punches. I think you can see it there. And I've got it clamped into the vise on the back edge there. So hopefully with a 1/2 inch end mill, I'll be able to go through real close to this upper corner and come out real close to this lower corner. Hopefully that will get me fairly parallel to the ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is, you know, not one of those things where I'm building a watch or anything, but as long as this doesn't pop out in the process of drilling this, I should be golden. So I've got the vise all set up, and I'll just flip it. I'll do this one and I'll flip it, put in the other one, and move to the other side of the vise, is what I'm trying to say, so that they wind up being a mirror image. And then the other 4 bolts, I'll just drill them straight through and probably drill and tap the cast iron to 3/8 of an inch, and with any amount of luck, I'll have a pair of wheels on the front of the drill press. So at any rate, I don't think there's any reason to actually show the procedure. I think you guys pretty well get the idea. Like I said, if that pin doesn't pop out of the back of the vise, I should have a 77 degree hole through that thing. So anyways, I will catch you guys later.